Hello, this is Auntie Akiba. I'm going to read you another book. Are you ready? Okay. This book is called Free as a Bird, The Story of Malala. And this is written and illustrated by Lina Maslo. And here we go. Free as a Bird, The Story of Malala. When she was born, people sighed and shook their heads. A girl, they whispered. What bad luck. But her father looked into her eyes and fell in love. Malala, he whispered, and named her after Malala of Maiwand, a Pashtun heroine whose fearless words gave courage and turned defeat into triumph. There's her father looking into her young eyes, and this represents the woman she's named after. Malala's father ran a school for boys and girls. He took her tiny hand into his and led her through the halls, holding her hand. Malala would sit in classrooms filled with other children who were older, and she would listen. And before she could speak, she would wander into the empty rooms and teach. So here she is. She's that littlest one sitting in the front. And then there she is in an empty classroom teaching, even when she couldn't even talk yet. As Malala grew, she realized that women in Pakistan did not have the same rights as men. Women, like her mother, had to hide their faces. They were expected to marry when they were very young and then have children. They could not be who they wanted to be. They just had to grow up and do what society told them. Malala watched her brothers fly kites from the roof. She wanted to be free, like those kites. She wanted to fly. Malala said she would not follow those rules of society when she grew up. And while others around the world would frown in disapproval, her father would smile and say, "That is my daughter." See the people on the rooftop? They're flying kites. See the colorful kites in the sky? And Malala's looking up at those kites saying, "I want to fly away just like those kites." Malala will be free as a bird. And Malala did feel free. Within the doors of her school, within the covers of a breathtaking book, within the patterned pages of calculus and chemistry, she loved to participate in public speaking contests at school. She would often win. Her father said, "You should be a politician." Malala laughed. She shook her head. She would be a doctor. Her father said, "You could help create a society where any girl could become a doctor." So there's Malala in her classroom. No one but girls are in her classroom. And again, this is in Pakistan, a different country. And then a new enemy came to Pakistan. At first, the enemy hid within the radio. They told people what to do. They told the people that girls could no longer go to school. And the enemy came out of hiding. They punished people who did not listen to them. They blew up schools for girls. Look at all that destruction. Oh no. The government sent an army to fight the enemy, and a war began. At night, Malala and her brothers hid in their parents' room as the two sides fired weapons at each other. But during the day, Malala secretly went to school. The children are sleeping with their parents while the bombs and shooting goes on. But then Malala goes to school, even when the enemy had told people girls should no longer go to school. Malala's father was not afraid. He spoke out and begged people to stand up to the enemy's demands. Malala watched her father's speeches. She said to herself, "Why don't you go and fight for girls' rights? Fight to make Pakistan a better place." So she's watching her father speaking, and she says, "Hey, maybe that's what I should do." Malala's mother said, "Speaking up is the only way things will get better." So Malala began to talk about the importance of schools for girls. "No one will stop me," she said. "I will get my education." And so Malala begins to speak out and even goes on television. But the army found out about it. They began to threaten Malala and her father. They told Malala's father, "Do not teach girls." Sent him a threatening note. They told Malala, "Do not talk about girls and education." One day, Malala's father told her that she should stop speaking out because it was getting too dangerous. But Malala said, "This is now my calling. You were the one who said that if we believe in something greater than our lives, then our voices will only multiply." "I will protect your freedom, Malala," said her father. So Malala's father is going to look out for her. Carry on with your dreams. Malala's father said, "Keep dreaming, Malala, keep dreaming." But the day came when he could not protect her. Malala is on a bus with other girls, and they're trying to go to school. And something bad happened. For 7 days, Malala slept and dreamed. That was an explosion on their bus going to school. And Malala is sleeping and dreaming because she was unconscious. She was hurt. When she woke up, she was in a hospital. She was told that the enemy had tried to end her life, but she had survived. She's in the hospital, and there's her family looking at her. But she's got bandages on her head, and she has been hurt. Malala was no longer in her own beloved country of Pakistan. She was now in England, where girls are free to go to school and learn. But she knew that girls and boys in many countries could not. Some of the countries were too poor. Others were always at war. And still others didn't think education was necessary, especially for girls. Malala would not keep silent, even when she's in England, even after she had been hurt. So she began to travel around the world, and speak to girls and boys, to teachers and reporters, to leaders and presidents and queens, to anyone who would listen. I speak not for myself, but for all girls and boys. I raise up my voice, not so that I can shout, but so that those without a voice can be heard. Those who have fought for their rights, their right to live in peace, their right to be treated with dignity, their right to equality of opportunity, their right to be educated. One child, one teacher, one pen, and one book can change the world. And Malala's father watched and said, "Look at her. Don't you think she is meant for the skies?" When the whole world is silent, even one voice becomes powerful. Malala Yousafzai, September 27th, 2013. That is the end of the book, Free as a Bird, The Story of Malala by Lina Maslo. I hope you liked it. You be brave and strong like Malala, and go to school because you can.